West Sumatra is known as one of the biggest provinces of Indonesia, also known as Sumbar. It is the homeland of Minangkabau people, one of the largest ethnic groups in Indonesia, known for its rich and beautiful culture and heritage. Home to the fascinating Gonjong roof and 5 million people, it is blessed with fertile and bountiful soil, making agriculture a major economic activity of West Sumatra. The dominant ethnic of West Sumatra are the Minangkabau. The Minangkabau, who are predominantly Muslim, occupy the province of West Sumatra. The need to enlarge the agriculture and economy influences had triggered the Minangkabau ancestors to sail from Asia, Indochina, via the South China Sea, crossing the Malacca Strait, and later settled along the Kampar, SYAUQIE, and Indragiri rivers. The morphology of West Sumatra is closely related to the history of the Minangkabau people. Tanah Datar is one of the oldest regency in West Sumatra, and it is rich with beautiful culture, nature, and history. Large rivers flow through the land and meet at the eastern part of the Sumatran coastline. This has provided a means of transportation until the end of the last century. Minangkabau people believed that the origin of Minangkabau came from Tanah Datar, precisely from Nagari Pariangan. Now, the highly cultured region has broadened their potentials of being the agriculture, trading, and tourism-oriented, while maintaining their beliefs and legacy. The land of the Minangkabau has a distinct culture, which distinguishes it from the rest of the island. A land of scenic beauty, with blue-green lakes and mountains, are famous for tari piring, the eye-catching Minang dance, and Pacu Jawi, the thrilling villagers' game of buffalo race. Buffaloes are legendary animal among the Minangkabau people. In fact, the name Minangkabau is believed to originate from the Battle of Two Buffaloes, used to settle a territorial dispute, in which the Minang people won. Minangkabau is known for its captivating customary house, or the Rumah Gadang, with its sweeping curvy roof, and magnificent carvings. Standing in front of a Rumah Gadang, one can feel the exoticness of the fusion between culture and architecture of the Minangkabau people. The Rumah Gadang is both a residence for a family and a customary house. It acts as a place to all the accustomed cultural ceremonies for the community in the surrounding area. Located at Kampong Lima Kaum, one of the most significant and rich with historical values. The RUMAH DATO BANDARO KUNIANG. Built in the year 1904, the stunning Rumah Gadang is full of history, passed from one generation to another, and has witnessed many great customary ceremonials for the Limo Kaum clan. According to the current descendant of the house, Dato Bandaro Kuniang is the traditional customary title given to the leader of Nagari Limo Kaum. As of today, there are 14 descendants of Dato Bandaro Kuniang. The last Dato Bandaro Kuniang known was Mark Moore.
Di Minangkabau ada yang dikatakan punah secara material. Jadi di sini diukur di sini, jadi orang punah itu punah secara materialnya. Dari sudut bapak mungkin masih ada keturunan ke bawah. Banyak itu malah. Datuk Bandaro Kuniang pertama dulu. Anaknya di mana-mana itu ada. Anak itu juga mana-mana bersejarah. Tapi akhirnya yang anak dari keponakannya sudah nggak ada.
Now continuing the legacy of Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang is the relative of Mark Moore, Anima. Secluded from the main street, This 111 years old Rumah Gadang is positioned on a flat land surrounded by trees, and can be approached from 3 entrances. The main entrance is located at the left of the house, the largest and the most used among the 3 entrances. Next to the entrance is a structure called tabuik, where a type of drum is located. The second entrance is located in the middle of the site facing the porch. In the old days, this entrance is where Dato Bandaro Kuniang marched during his coronation. The compound of the Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang is carefully composed with neat trimmed grass and stone wall around its perimeter. The house in the middle of the compound divided the lawn into 2 areas, the front compound and the backyard. The front lawn is used during cultural or ceremonial occasions such as the coronation. On the other hand, the backyard is usually used as a cooking area. Villagers would gather and help prepare for the feast. There are 2 rangkayang located in front of the house, while tabuik and bathroom are located on the left side of the house. The space in the main house is divided into 2, symbolizing the private and public spaces. The enclosed spaces at the rear of the house are the bedrooms, the most private spaces in the house. Next to it is an open area also known as labua. Serves as a gathering space for visitors and family members. Located in front of Rumah Ibu is the sarambi, or porch, a transitional space connecting the exterior and the interior space. A reflection of the influence of the Dutch, in terms of the construction and material, but the roof maintained the typical Minangkabau roof architecture. The sarambi was not part of the original structure. It was an addition to enhance the circulation of the Rumah Gadang. Sarambi also acts as an extent where unfamiliar or visitors are allowed. During the Dutch era, this is where the Dutch, who sometimes visited the village, were entertained. The column is one of the most important structural components of Rumah Gadang as it forms a strong and stable structure. There are 2 types of columns in the Rumah Gadang, the structural and non-structural columns. Columns connected to the floor and roof beams provide the basis of the structure of the house. The construction of Rumah Gadang begins with the erection of the main column, or tunggak tuwo, followed by other columns. The tunggak tuwo was carefully selected from the tallest tree in the forest, with almost perfect branches. The columns in the main house are positioned based on a grid system of about 3 meters. There are 18 columns in the main house of Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang. Each of the columns has 12 sides symbolizing the Undang-Undang 12, Law of 12. The house is raised from the ground, creating a space beneath it, known as kolong. Used as storage area for farming equipment and keeping livestock. This space is well ventilated through the openings created by the vertical wood panels. A fan-shaped ornament, or keepers, adorn the upper arch-shaped wood panels of the kolong, to symbolize good ventilation, in which it provides ample wind flow through the spaces in between and into the entire house. Wind flowing through the space helps to cool the entire house. Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang have 5 main space, which is Balai, Labua, Bandua, Bilik, and Anjuang. The level of Labua is lower than Bandua. This is where elders would guide and advise younger member of the family. Discussions and decisions were made in case of internal dispute. timber floor was used extensively in the Rumah Gadang except for the Sarambi. The columns underneath the house, in the kolong area, supported the floor beam. A set of floor joists were arranged horizontally next to the floor beam, topped with wood planks, the floor finish for the house. The Sarambi and stairs leading to the Sarambi are made of concrete, a more durable material as compared to timber. The level of the first floor is smoothly constructed in a curvy manner. Therefore, it is not entirely flat, and it extends upwards from the center of the house. The curvature is depicted as flat, as its wooden plank of the floor is effortlessly cut, in small intervals to define the curve. If a marble is rolled on the floor, it will move from each end of the house to the center. Painted yellow, the house reflected a sense of grandeur and prominence. The beautiful walls of Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang is full with fascinating and intricate carvings, which lends the house its elegance. The materials used at different walls reflect the ingenious use of natural material. Embellished timber wall at the front wall and woven bamboo, or best known as sasak bugis. The front wall, known as dindian, ari, is made of timber, embellished with carvings signifying different meanings and reflection of the status of the owner. Timber, for the internal wall, and woven bamboo or sasak bugis for the external wall. The sasak bugis creates a nice wall pattern and enhances the aesthetic of the house. Windows provide natural ventilation and lighting into the house. There are several types of window in the Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang. Quranic verses adorn the upper panels of the windows in the house, an influence of Islam as a way of life. The adat Minangkabau is closely related to the Quran and Sunnah as reflected by the Minangkabau proverb. Adat bar sandi syarak, syarak bar sandi kitabullah. Accordingly, the Quranic verses were also deemed to avoid any form of calamities, an act of appending barrier, from misadventures or illnesses according to the people's belief. Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang is deeply embellished with ornamentations of different sizes, colors and types. The wooden walls, pillars, and ceilings of the Rumah Gadang are decorated with bas-relief carved wooden motifs. The beautiful motifs consist of profuse floral designs based on a simple underlying geometric structure. In general, ornaments and decorations have implicit meanings and philosophy. The motifs reflect the function of a space, whereby visitors would know when and where they should be at in the house. The patterns vary from one corner to another, depending on the creativity and techniques used by the tukang tuo or carpenter.
Ini dasarnya di dalam takaban dari UIUM satu contoh ada namanya bada mudia, ada badago sama bada mudia. Nah, badago nama seperti apa ikan yang kecil-kecil tu. Tu badan, namanya bada mudia bayangannya. Nah, satu contoh bada mudia. Ada lagi bunga cangkalangi. Kan alam tu. Ini segalanya ukiran tu dilambangkan kepada alam.
Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang has a raised space at both ends known as unjuang. The unjuang consists of 3 levels and located at both left and right side of the house. The highest floor of the unjuang acts as the room, the middle floor served as labua and bandua, and the lowest floor would be the balai. The anjuang on the left side of the house is for the maiden, and the right is for the elders. From this perspective, the existence of anjuang in Rumah Gadang is unique, as it reflects a mix of culture between Bodi Cheniago and Koto Piliang. Minangkabau architecture are greatly depicted by the roof of Rumah Gadang. One can sense the supremacy of the architecture influence at the roof structure. It is constitute the most interesting part of the house. The sweeping and curvy shape of the roof is not easily constructed and requires a master builder to build it. The entire roof structure of the house was made of timber. There are different types of Rumah Gadang roof. The roof of Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang is of the sapik kalau type. The outer layer of the roof is made of thatch, or ijok. The gonjong, a projected metal piece at the ends of the thatch roof, finishes the look of the roof, giving its remarkable appearance and prominence. Standing in front of the compound of Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang, two large structures of Rungkiang, also known as granary, it is a component of Rumah Gadang, a place to store paddy. Two Rungkiang are positioned in front of the house. The paddy was for the consumption of the house owner as well as the community. It was believed that the amount of paddy stored in the house should not be beyond the daily consumption of the family. This is to safeguard the family. In case the house was caught on fire, paddy stored in a free-standing structure detached from the house would be safe. The columns are shaped into 12 sides. Braces were placed around the layered walls to further enhance the structure, which carries a lot of weight, resulted in the storage area to be wider on the top. 3 layers of woven bamboo made up the walls, allowing good ventilation for the stored paddy. The structural components of the Rungkiang collectively were designed to give maximum support to the storage area, as it takes more weight, and to prevent the Rungkiang from potential collapse during earthquake. The slanted columns made the whole structures stronger as more paddy or rice was stored. There are a few interesting ornamentations on the Rungkiang, which signifies it as a protected entity. Kalati door, or sleeping scorpion. It signifies that a dangerous element is lurking nearby. And the Duri landak, or porcupine. It is an indirect instruction to not to go near, and to mind your actions and words. Philosophically, the ornaments reminded that the place is protected, and no one should disturb it, as there could be something mysterious and dangerous could be lurking in the corner. Another feature about the Rungkiang is the metal plate made using aluminium. This is to avoid the rat to climb up to the Rungkiang. Tabuik is a type of drum to call prayers. The one in Rumah Gadang Dato Bandaro Kuniang was used to inform people in case of a death or an emergency. The only person who can hit the tabuik is the owner of the house. Another important note is that there are 3 graves located at the left corner of the compound of the house, said to belong to the last female descendants of Dato Bandaro Kuniang. An additional uniqueness of Rumah Gadang is the drain around the perimeter of the house. The drain was designed to be wider than the normal drain, to collected rainfall. Water are maintained in the drain all the time in case of emergency. Sands were placed around the external perimeter of the drain. Both the water and the sand were used to extinguish fire, as due to its materials, it is easy for the house to be on fire during hot and dry season. Tanah Datar is located in an earthquake-prone area, surrounded with majestic mountains and volcanic eruptions. Thus, the house has to be designed to be resistant to tremors. The columns and beams were designed to be flexible to allow free movement, and avoid potential collapse during earthquake. Columns were placed on top of sandy stone, a kind of stone from the river. The batu sandi protect the timber columns from decay and acts as footing, distributing the load of the house to the ground. Started with the main column or tonggak tuwo, constructed with 36 columns. The structural frames of columns and beams were connected on site, raised in an orderly manner, and continued until it reaches the Owajong and Pongkal of the house respectively. Only then, batu sandi were carefully placed underneath the columns. The floor components were connected to the floor joists. The horizontal structural and non-structural components were connected to the structural frames, once the main frames were raised. The thatch roof, or rejok, were then placed, and connected to the roof frame. And lastly, the beautiful walls, which were embellished with carvings depicting nature, enveloped the structural form. The Serambi was added about 40 years after the construction of the main house. Throughout history, architecture symbolizes the civilization of a people. In the case of Minangkabau, its architectural heritage reflects the many influences that shaped the civilization: Islam, traditional culture and nature. The house reflects the uniqueness and strength of its people, but most importantly, the bonding that ties the community together. The house is a testament of how ingenious approach to architecture provides a fine balance between the need to provide a comfortable physical living environment, consistent with the culture of the people and belief, and the modifying factors such as climate, geography, natural materials and construction. Rumah Dato Bandaro Kuniang truly represents an epitome of Nusantara architecture, not only in its authenticity, uniqueness, but the strength and importance of community in the life of Minang.